got you covered.
All right, everyone. Welcome to Bros on Air. Strap on in and get ready to take a ride with four bros from Philly. Just spitting that hot fire. Oh wait, that's just morning breath.
I'm
All right,
mad.
I'm joking.
I'm done. You're out of pocket.
We're just
Spitting
here.
morning breath is crazy.
The morning breath through the microphone. Outstanding.
Mm.
I know, right?
Melting the
All right, we're just here basically just to have fun and to talk about a few things which we find to be relevant and dispense the wisdom and experiences from our collective minds. I have a few black brothers here that are smart, intelligent, have a lot of wisdom from experiences, from trained knowledge, and just from Philly itself. I have David, aka Black Jesus.
Ah,
I have Dan, aka Xerxes.
I am Lord Xerxes.
Over here we have X Thorn,
don't worry.
and
I
it
got
is
you all
I,
covered.
Dre, the Dragon Slayer. Why? I have no clue. It just sounded good, so I went with it.
I thought you was going to use
That's what
drastic.
I'm going with.
I thought you were going to use, the name from your favorite player, because they call him drastic anyway.
Well, no. I'll say that for another time. Yeah. I have to tell people the drastic story and why for them to understand,
Right.
because
I know,
Lord.
I
people
know
that
the
know
drastic
me,
story. Yeah,
they
I know
already
that story.
know. But the others, and those that, out there in podcast land that wondering who the hell am I,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. You know,
See,
we have to tell them the water plug story, we got to tell them the jumping over cars and stuff, go
What to
over
do
a
the
now?
couple
whole
other
nine, the
things,
whole shebang.
Don't
the
do that.
whole, singing the song on the bus type, situations and Daddy Murphy classic.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
We ain't even gonna say amen.
Amen. Right. But now that we've gotten all of our laughs and humor and a little bit out the way, we want to go into something that we felt was important, something that rarely gets talked about in our community. But yet it needs to be talked about. And again, this is part of our mission to kind of bring aware to these types of things. So we're going to talk about mental health. Mental health is something that affects everyone. Uh, White, black, Asian, gay, straight, trans, no matter who you are, at some point, mental health affects you, whether it's a personal challenge, whether it's someone that you love or you care about. Sometimes, I mean, it could just be people that you may have to work with. And, you have to learn how to adjust and adapt. But again, it's one of those things that, people don't talk about. And we just want to share some light on it. So we just want to just kind of see what you guys think. What is mental health to you? What does it mean?
Well,
Don't be shy, my brother.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said, don't be shy. It's okay.
Listen, no, because you hit it on the you hit the nail on the head when you started with the opening about today's podcast about mental health because a lot of people are afraid to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was talking about this with some people last night. You know, mental health is basically your well-being dealing with your mind, your health, how you cope with stress, how you cope with learning different things, how you
Mm-hmm.
deal with the everyday of every day. And there's a lot of people that don't deal with the every day very, very well. Speaking from a person who, number one, as we get further along in today's episode, I will definitely give you my story. It's a small synopsis, but it's not just about me, it's about everybody. I'm quite sure, like you guys, you three guys, pretty much, I don't know if you guys have actually you might know somebody that's been through it and you might have to say, hey, listen, you may have a problem. Why don't you go sit down, go talk to somebody? And if you say that to somebody, it's more like, oh, they're on the defensive. Don't tell me who I can and can't talk to. Because the culture that we come from, our parents didn't believe in it. Our parents was more like, okay, let's get him one, let's go tarry with them at the altar, Jesus save them. if you look at it, yes, God does save everybody. He even saved babies and fools. But in the same given token, you got to help yourself along the way. So you can't be afraid to admit when you have a problem. You shouldn't be. If you
Mm-hmm.
are, then that means you're the one that have the problem. And at the end of the day, it'll come to the surface, regardless of what you go through.
Okay.
And of course, with mental health, is like you said before, it's your mental health, not just your mental, but your um, emotional, your
Mm-hmm.
social well-being, if you
Mm-hmm.
interact with people or whatnot. Like you said, a lot of times people will say they might have someone be dealing with mental health issues, and the instant something like that happens, church bro, oh, they got a spirit. No, they just need to talk to somebody. You know, God
Mm-hmm.
created, yes, you go to God for everything, you pray and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. He also created the man who created the couch for you to sit on. It's okay to talk to somebody. And if you talk to somebody, you speak with someone who's definitely, doesn't go and sit down with uh, people who don't believe in God. You know, you wouldn't sit down with a Satanist and, something have mental health issues and it's like moving forward in the past. So if you are going to sit with someone, make sure they are faith based and they're
Mm-hmm.
not going to be biased and they're going to, really sit and listen to you to hear what you got to say. And then you got to need to find people like you guys that you can confide into to speak with them. You know, it may be something that you might feel uncomfortable with, but when you start talking, you'll feel more comfortable speaking about it. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we'll get more than that if you want that episode. So,
That's true.
Extremely.
And it's very important, that if you do have and again, going back to what X said, some people, it's like they don't necessarily admit that they have it. Some people are in denial. But
Mm-hmm.
whether you're in denial or whether you are openly admitting that you do have these issues, the one important thing is that you do have someone that you can talk to about. Um, of course, the answer will be someone that's professionally trained, someone that, could be faith based, but
Mm-hmm.
someone that you can talk to about it, that will understand and not judge, understand and do their best to help you get out of that situation that you're in at that moment, is very. I just
Mm-hmm.
want to point that out. I know that Dave, he has to, give his take on it as well. But
Yeah.
just want to see that before we move
Oh
on.
yeah. So mental health, I agree with everything what y'all said. So mental health also, what I've have learned also is also attached to your physical health as well. They kind of link depending on how much your mental health is being attacked or how much you're going through in your mental health. It could also have an effect on your physical health as well. And just like what X said, like a lot of people we're in denial. Some people are in denial the mental health, and a lot of it is about how we're raised and different things that we're taught in our
Yep.
upbringing, as far as like to hide different things, to not tell anyone what we're going through, just to keep pressing on. It's good to keep pressing on, but also you have to heal yourself in different areas while you're pressing on, not just pressing on just to keep
mm-hmm.
going on. If you're hurt, you don't just say, "Oh my, I got shot in the arm. Let me just keep going." No, you have to tend to that wound, and then you can keep pressing on. Yeah, I have this battle scar. I'm keep
Yep.
going on. Then I press on, but I don't just keep
Mm-hmm.
going on just like that. But just like what y'all was saying, that the mental health is just like people just are in so much of denial that it affects not only them but their offspring or whoever they're raising. So now you have a variation of different people who are being raised and being taught not to care for their mental health. And then what you have is a society that's around hurt. And that's what you're seeing now. You see a lot of people that's around hurt because their mental health is being affected. And not only is their mental health being affected, now their physical health is being affected. And now they're hurt. And now they hurting other people and different things like that. So mental health for me is just like protecting the health that you have inside of you. And sorry. And that's it. That's it right now. I'll get more into it a little bit later. I'll be right back.
Right, handle your business. So, I've been working for years. And I used to work for the city of Philadelphia.
Mhm.
Um, and in that role, one of the things that I saw was a lot of people that had mental health issues. Some of it was the people that came inside of the library each and every day, but other times that was also people that I may have worked with, and some, like, again, sometimes it's something that maybe wasn't pronounced or something that wasn't disclosed. But yet sometimes, you see people and they are dealing with so many different things. And because, you're dealing with the public, but also those that you work with as well, you deal with many things pertaining to that. And sometimes you have to be able to identify it, to understand it, but also once you identify it, learn how to work with it, which is very important. Um, I'll give you. There was this one lady that would come to the library every day, and it's like some days she would be in a great mind space, where she's functioning normally, no issues, no nothing. And then there's other days where she would come to the library and she would be off, and everyone could tell that she was off. And some people would, throw around the whole, oh, she's off her meds, this, that, and the other, But the thing is that whether she's off her meds or not, it's like you have to be able to understand what you're seeing, and then also be able to respond and react in a way that is helpful to not only, you know,
Very
you,
true.
but also to them as well. Um, and that was one of those things that, again, I wasn't trained in how to handle those type of situations, but I had to learn how to, handle those situations.
Hmm.
Um, but it kind of leads to what our next thing that we may want to talk about is how does mental health affect our communities and our families. And I know that we kind of talked about it a little bit in what we were saying earlier, but anyone has anything specific that they may want to share about it, how it affects our communities and our family?
But it affects our families greatly because at the end of the day, like you said about dealing with the lady that came to come to the library, like certain days that she was really really great, and then them days that she was off, and then people throwing around pushing me be off her meds. If you really like, if you have a particular family member, such as like in my case, I can give a small synopsis. My mother's schizophrenic, and because my mom is schizophrenic, I know them times when she has those good moments. I know those times when she has those bad moments, and how it affects our community. Because again, we all grew up in a black community where our parents was really old school. They did not believe in taking us to a psychiatrist to have us sit down and talk about our problems because they wanted to know about our problems and certain problems that we had. Our parents wasn't. They were quick with it, and it was more like, oh no 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 no. Like I said earlier, let's go to the altar. Let's tear it.
Hmm.
In today's society is yes. Dan, you said it best. God created the man that created the chair for us to sit down and talk about. So that's what we should do. And for it to affect our communities, I think we should bring, I believe that mental health awareness should be brought more to the forefront because you see different athletes that's going through it, like Simone Biles. Back in the Olympics, she went through it. I was just watching a commercial the other day. I'll send the information to you guys. And there's a particular organization that really focuses on mental health awareness and how to deal with mental health, not only just in just the community setting, but overall in the world and overall as a whole. You know what I mean? Because I came from a family background where, mental health is kind of prevalent within my family. I can honestly tell.
So I remember, oh, and just thinking about it kind of just gives me chills. We all had like that family member that everyone knew something was wrong with. but
Mm-hmm.
yet they found a way to kind of just hide them and just keep them out the way. And instead of getting them the help that they need, they just
Mm-hmm.
kind of covered it up. Um, I had an uncle, and he lived in the back room. Now, mind you, this uncle, you know, his actual father lived in West Philadelphia, but he lived with my grandma um, in North Philly, and he stayed in our back room. And we called him Uncle Allen, you know. And again, he had those good days, and then he had those bad days, where
Mm-hmm.
he would just be off his rocker.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and instead of like getting the help that they needed, sometimes they just, oh yeah, he'll be all right, he'll be okay.
I think in a way, Andre, like a lot of people make excuses for that, and they shouldn't. You understand what I'm saying? You should
Yeah,
not make excuses. If you see this as a family member that needs that mental help, get it. Like I actually had to really swallow my pride and say, okay, I know what I go through. Let me go help my mom because helping my mom can help me. You know what I mean? Or seeing somebody like seeing different veterans on the street because they got that sign up and they're saying, "Hey, I suffer from PTSD because I just came from the Afghanistan war. I just got back from Afghanistan or whatever." Like, let me help you because what you're going through can help me for what I'm probably going through. Because I had somebody tell me the other day that most people that have mental health is considered toxic. They're not toxic. Let me stop y'all right there. They're not. They need that help. Get it. And if you're not willing to be, if their mental health is a problem, then you should be the solution for that problem. Does that make sense?
it makes sense.
Now,
There's there's
sometimes,
not a lot to unwrap with it, but it does make sense.
Right.
yeah, I was gonna say a lot of times too, it's just like it be some people don't want to get the help. And you can
That's
be
very true.
beating a dead horse or whatnot. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you see that they need help. I have the
Mm-hmm.
avenues, I have everything I need to help you get past this. But yet I found comfort in where I'm at. I'm okay with being here. And
Or they
I don't want
right. Or they found comfort in something else to numb that pain of whatever they're going through. You know what I mean? They found it
yeah.
in drugs, alcohol, gambling, pornography, you name it. They find that outlet for that pain.
That's
And
true.
especially and like you said, in the black community, like you said, it's a little back then. I feel like now it's starting to open up just a little bit more. But back then, of course, when I was growing up, sure, when y'all were, like you said, there wasn't one who would say, "Oh, go to no, you be all right, chalk it up, man up." It's just like and that was your mindset the whole time. Like, "Hey, I can't sign, I can't talk about it, trying to push
Can't
through it."
show my feelings about it.
You know what I'm
Like we
saying?
say,
And
it,
Was
like we used to say in the army, suck it up and drive on.
Well,
Hmm.
it's a lot
and
of outlets
uh,
from that because if you talk about it from a regular standpoint, it's exactly what y'all talk about. But when you talk about from a man's standpoint, it's on a whole nother level.
completely different.
It's on a whole nother level because it's intensified because the things
Mm-hmm.
that's put in front of us to do and the standard, in my opinion, and just looking at research, the standard of a man changes every 2 years of what we're expected to do and what we're expected to bring to the table. Like we're expected to do a whole lot of things, and I'm not saying that a man is not supposed to do a lot of things, but the standard of what a man is, it has changed a lot through the years and even increases. And if you talk about being a man of faith, oh, that's even more intensified. So,
Mhm.
but it's a
Yep.
lot of stuff that we have been I hate to use the word program, but program as a kid to just like to not to do, like don't cry, suck it up, do different things like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of stuff we have put up a barrier and a wall against our feelings. So now when it's time to heal these feelings, we have to tear down that wall in order for us to be like healed in certain areas. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of that, like I said, it has been taught to us in society, and some of it is still being taught today in society.
Mhm.
And a lot of us, and
Now
just
you
like what
bring
you were saying, a lot of us, some of it is what y'all are saying, but a lot of it, a lot of people don't know how to get the help. A lot of people don't know who to go to get the help. A lot of people, that's why they're afraid to reach out because a lot of them has been burnt by putting their feelings out, and then somebody used that
Mm-hmm.
as an attack on them. So a lot of them had to
Mm-hmm.
find something somewhere they can put their feelings out to be trusted. and we have to build these trust outlets so people can come in and express themselves. And like you said, a lot of it is going to be on that couch, but some of it need to be from people who are of strong counsel, so they can take on these feelings and not put it out there. So a lot of it's going to be on that couch, and a lot of it's going to be somewhere in somebody's office space or a bus stop or something like that. But it's going to be somewhere where it's going to be a trusted space or a trusted person.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Now, there was some commonality in something that I think we all mentioned at some point, specifically you three, but there was something that was very common, and it was religion, spirituality. So I do want to kind of touch on that a bit, because I've been in church since I was a kid, since I would probably say maybe 8 or 9 years old. So
Mhm.
I've seen it all, I've seen a lot. And I know you guys have seen a lot as well. You've seen people that had issues, and they will come, to the altar, lay down their burdens down by the riverside.
No, I'm saying that's not a bad thing at all.
Not
But
by the
keep saying
rivers.
what you're saying. But no, I
Yeah.
listen. It has a little humor into it. Don't get me wrong. But Andre, I'm sorry, the Dragon Slayer. My bad. I have to say that. You made a good point. If when you come to the altar and you lay your burdens down right there, okay, yeah, everything it comes with faith. You understand what I'm saying? You lay your burden down and just trust in faith that God's going to handle that situation and bring you through. Like I'm going to give y'all my testimony because Andre and Dave, y'all both know my testimony. Dan, you're going to hear a little bit about it, but you two definitely know what I've been through for the last 7 years and
Well,
where my mental health was. You understand
before
what I'm saying?
we go there, let's just note that there's two parts
Yeah.
to the religious experience.
Mhm.
Two parts.
Mhm.
Okay? One is God.
Definitely.
God can do anything and everything.
Everything.
Hey, stop.
Don't ever forget that.
I don't forget
Now,
it at all.
the second part is man.
Mhm.
Because sometimes the people that we have that are in charge of these things, they're not always equipped to handle
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
what they're dealing with.
There you go.
And
Exactly.
some
Exactly.
will, again, they'll try to pray it away. Some will try to prophesy it away. Some will try to push it away
Mhm.
because they think it's a demon.
Mhm.
But not everyone, again, is trained to handle, these types of situations.
I agree.
Uh, now, what I'm seeing, and I mean, I can name a few offhand, that are doing it the right way because they have that background, they have that training, they can see that. Now, mind
Mhm.
you, again, because of the spirituality side, some pastors have that gift where they can see a person, see what they're dealing with, and deal with it the right way. But
Mhm.
not everyone has that gift of discernment. So
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
some of them mishandle or misdiagnose people, and sometimes push them down a path that they don't belong down. But I would love to get your take on it. What you think about mental health when it comes to churches, spirituality, how people are dealing with it. Just throw it out there. What you think? I know I've said a lot, so there's a lot
Black
to go.
Jesus.
Come on, Black Jesus.
Well,
Let's hear it.
that's actually I ain't gonna say a slippery slope, but to tell the truth about it, it's exactly what you said. It's exactly what you said, and I'm probably gonna say some stuff, but for real, like the church, I don't say the church, just a lot of people, just a lot of religions. I ain't gonna say just the church, but the church is play their part too, and as far as dropping the ball and mishandling people
Mhm.
on a lot of levels. Not only just mental health, but just in a lot of areas of the people, and a lot of it is being untrained, being not spiritually uh, spiritually attached to God, where they can have the gift of seeing different things. Because a lot of things you don't have to be trained in, but if you follow the instructions through God, you can also maneuver to through some things that you not
Mm-hmm.
are
Yep.
trained in, so to speak. So a
Mhm.
lot of that is not following the voice of God, not obeying what the spirit, what is it telling to you, not identifying with the spirit. So a lot of that, the church is at fault for, because a lot of them, when they don't have that training, they try to fake it and they try to give this persona like they know it all. And so when somebody come forth through the house or their church or whatever, and they feel as though they come through, they try to do something. They try to do something on their own without God. And you can't do that. You can't operate without God, because you're going to see just what men do when they operate without God. They're going to fail. So a lot of that is on the church and other people in the organization. Not to give a shout out to my book, but in a little excerpt in my book I wrote a little short thing about how man is affected by mental health. It's like also like if you have a man that doesn't like do anything, or he's corrupt in his mind, then what he do? He go to a church, and what happens? And he's affected. He doesn't do anything in his church, and then if the church is not doing anything, they sort of poison the community. Then you have a poison community. Then you have a poison like neighborhood is not being healed by anything. So you have a neighborhood that's not being healed, or corrupt, so to speak, and their mindset. So now what? You have a country that's like that. Then all of a sudden you spread out. Then you have a world like that. So but I give a little more detail in there, but it just gives how it can be affected throughout the whole community base and neighborhood base. Oh, there you go. See, but 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 yeah, in
You
my
slid
book,
to the side to go get it.
in my book, I have an excerpt in there that talks about that. I can find it. I don't have them right in front of me, but yeah, it gives a short explanation about how mentally we're affected, and we make an impact in the community or a non-impact in the community by being mentally disrupted.
Hmm.
Well, I'm gonna piggyback off what you said, Dave. I mean, I agree. There are some churches out here that will fumble the ball, and they will fumble that person. And to insert this little part of it, most people that when the church has fumbled that person, they develop what's called church hurt, and church hurt actually affects the mental aspect also, because you're like, okay, I want to go to this church, or I want to go to any other church, because that, you're going to think that one pastor or that one first lady or one that deacon or whoever is the exact same one, until, like you said, once you ask God for the gift of discernment, and God shows you what church you should go to and who that right person should be. Everybody's not trained for everything, but what you're trained in, you're good at your craft in, you're going to perfect it. And once you perfect it, you shouldn't fumble nothing. Nobody's perfect, but in the same given token, it's more like, I want to get your book. I'm definitely tell you, thank you, Andre, for showing that. But I'm gonna get your book,
Mhm.
and I want to read it, because at the end of the day, there are those out here that are really, they're scared to church. And sometimes it can probably be because of what that happened mentally in that church. Because like I said, people don't understand, church hurt is real. I'm gonna say it again because it bears repeating, and I don't care who don't believe me. Church hurt is real, and it does affect the psyche. And when it affects the psyche, it makes you afraid of everything. But you should never be afraid of God, because Steve Harvey says it all the time when he does his closing remarks. The last part he says, that to me very profound, when he says, "Talk to God; He would love to hear from you." And that's what I tell people. Just talk to him. Listen, God is not going to judge you. If anything, he's
All
just going to
you
sit there and
talk
listen.
with Jesus.
Exactly. Just sit
Tell
there,
him all
talk to
about
him.
your
Sit
troubles.
there, talk to him, be quiet. Sit,
Everything's fine.
sit there, talk to him, and tell him.
Answer by your mind.
God will always lead you the
Is
right
there
way.
one?
All you do is a
All
Every
good
tambourine.
now.
All you do is a
There's, listen,
tambourine.
there's always one.
fire.
But yeah, Dave. I mean,
My little
I
talk with
definitely,
Jesus
I
makes it
definitely,
right.
I definitely want to get your book. I definitely want to read that. I mean, what you said is all around. You know what I mean? I just wanted to piggyback off that.
Oh
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And like y'all said, like you said, when it comes to people
Oh, oh,
being, Lord Jesus, when it comes to people being uh hurt or whatnot now, and then sometimes a lot of people are hurt in the world, and then they come to church and they'll
Mm-hmm.
experience, or certain things may trigger them from things happen in the world, and now they automatically
Exactly.
think, you know what? they just like them in the world. So I don't even want to
Mhm.
be here, this, that, and the third.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I've come
Mhm.
across so many people that come to the church or whatnot, and they'll come in one way. The one thing what I've learned over time of being a deacon and minister is that, like, especially during deacon, is that in order to understand people, you really have to take the time to talk to them,
Right.
not just
Yes, you
listen.
Right.
do.
Yep.
You get the
Mhm.
information,
Yep.
and you never know what a random text on a Thursday may do for somebody. Hey, just checking on you.
There
And
you
I
go.
do that.
Say it
I
again.
do that so often, and I don't do it to be seen and whatnot. It's just like you never know what somebody's going through. Taking the time out of my day, as busy as I am, to make sure, hey, just checking on you, okay? Thank you so much. That means a lot. Yeah, no worries. I'm just checking on you. If you need to talk, I'm here. And I'll leave it at that. Ain't nothing all spiritually deep. Praise God from the heavens above, and that's all. It just
Hmm.
normal. Hey, how are you? You okay?
Mhm.
Haven't talked to you in a while. Just checking on you.
Mhm.
And those little things help people to feel more secure in speaking, to help if they
Mhm.
do have any mental health issues or just life issues. Things may be going on, and now they found somebody. You know what? I can confide in them. I can talk to them. So then I'm not sitting here harboring all these emotions and all these feelings or whatnot. And I have a trusted voice, as you said, like Jesus, a trusted voice
Right.
to speak to. And
Mhm.
that's what it really boils down to as well, too, is that I can't talk to everybody.
Yeah.
I have to talk to that trusted person, because everybody I talk to ain't there to listen. They there to listen to uh,
Right.
spread my information,
Hmm.
and you'll know
Or
it's truly about you. It's just like, listen, you can trust them, and you ain't got to say, listen, this stays here.
or you don't have that person that, like you said, you just hit it. They won't judge you. Period.
Hmm.
Because like you tell them information, and then they'll, you don't want somebody to come back and telling you, man, what you're going through is so toxic, I can't deal with it, or oh man, this is too much for me, I can't deal with it. Like you trusted that person who you told whatever you're going through with it. The only thing you want them to do is just listen. You don't have to
Hmm.
give feedback, but just listen. Just hear me out. Like, be that soundboard. Let me vent.
Hmm.
Let me say what I got to say. Let me get this off my chest because I trust you enough to talk to you about what I'm going through versus, okay, I'm going to talk to, say, this person over here. And the first thing they're going to tell me is, oh, you're going through too much. I can't deal with this. Or, you know what? Like, nah, 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 nah. I don't want to be around you. Like, that kind of effect, that right there is just, mm. For mental
Yeah.
health, yeah, for mental health, you really want to, because if you don't know what you may go through that same thing that person is going through. You want to give them your insight, your feedback, and again, that soundboard so y'all both can compare notes and okay, he got something or she got something that can help you, and you got something that can help that person over here. You know what I mean?
But not
Yeah.
only that, when you going through a lot of when you in like your one of your dark, I call that the darkest moment because I know when I was in like a real dark place. Sometimes you feel like you the only one going through it. You feel like it's just you. You feel
Mm-hmm.
like
Hmm.
it's you, and you feel like I'm the only one going through this, and it's just me. I'm dangling from the string, and I only got this string to hang on to that's separate me from insanity and insanity. And when I was going through that dangling, it is helpful to have that voice there, somebody who can also has been through something. So you can
Hmm.
talk to him, be like, all right, I'm now you feel a little better. Like, all right, I'm not the only one that have been going through this, number one. And let me find out what they did to kind of cope or what they did to try to ease the situation to give me some ease. So sometimes a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
talking with people who have gone through similar things can help you in your mental aspect and also having some people to check up on you like just like you said that random text of just like hey how you doing on that
Yep.
random Thursday or just whatever in the middle because those are the things that really saved me when I was going through because I was dangling from it was like a couple threads left for me and just from being in contact with just my brothers and just for them just checking on me every now and then that helped me out a whole lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's stay there for a moment. Um,
I know you're about to
because
talk about veterans, right?
well, we are. One thing that is very important is that not everybody is gifted to talk to you about everything.
That's it.
There you
That's
go.
it.
There you go. That's it. That's that part. That part right there.
You know,
That part right there.
God put so many people on this earth, and give them so many different experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Not always, because it's for them, but it's for other people.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes He does put the right people in the right places at the right
Mm-hmm.
time,
Mm-hmm.
for those moments. And again, the right means that they've went through specific things, because there's always specific causes for some of these mental challenges that people are facing. Some, it could be just upbringing. You were 8 years old and you saw a murder that you just could not get out of your head.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you
Mm-hmm.
might have been molested, you might have been raped,
Mm-hmm.
and you've never been able to process, those feelings that you dealt with. Some people, I mean, it could be something like heartbreak. You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
heartbreak can be very serious, and people are like, you know what, you're supposed to get over that. But
Nah.
sometimes, it can hit you to a point where you just never get over it without the right talking, well, the
Mm-hmm.
right people, to help you through that, to understand, what you may understand.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing that, I see a lot of, is that with our veterans, you know, um, the army, the armed forces, they take these kids, okay, 17, 18 years old, and they train them, to be soldiers. They train them to do, orders, to obey orders, to do these things, and they go and they fight for the country, and they fight battles that some of us, that are here in the States or in other places aren't prepared to fight. But they
Mm-hmm.
fight these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they experience things that we would never experience in
Mm-hmm.
our lifetimes. Now, mind you, I lived in the hood. I've seen some murders. I've seen some shootings. I've seen some violence. You
Mm-hmm.
know, but it's like it may be nothing compared to what they may face. In the military. Now, mind you, there are some that may have just went to boot camp and that's it. But some have really faced some challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they go through this and then they come back
Yeah.
and they'll get anything. Now, I'm not the expert on this, but I'm hoping that my homie Frank, may have some insight on
Frank
that.
Money.
Okay. Yes, I am from the military. I never really got a chance to go over
What
to
what
any
branch
war.
so that people can know, Frank?
Oh man, the greatest army in the world. Come on now, stop playing. U.S. Army. Don't ever get that twisted. The oldest, the greatest.
Central
Do not
Five.
ever, ever. No, 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 no. Army all day, every day. Cool. Thank you very much. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I never got a
I'm,
chance to go to
I'm the
war.
son of a Marine, so, you know.
I'm a son of a I'm a son of a sailor. What's the difference? It doesn't matter. Anyway, back to what I was saying.
I'm a
Yes.
soldier in the army of the Lord. Actually, in
Hey man, I'm listen. My
I'm
commission
just
is
telling
never.
you,
My oath is never.
simplify, simplify.
I will say hoorah, but that's
Frank.
later. But no, I never got a chance to go to war. I wish I did, but then again, I don't wish I did because I see a lot of these veterans that come back, and I see them at the VA hospitals or even the regional offices, and I mean they go through it. Like me, again, me being a veteran of, I have PTSD. I suffer from depression. I suffer from anxiety.
Now,
Some of that,
before you go on, is it possible that you can give me your best definition of PTSD?
my best definition, they say, okay, PTSD is post traumatic stress disorder. My best definition is like you probably went through something and it triggered you. Like you don't know what it is. Sometimes it could be fireworks. It will actually trigger it, whatever event you went through in the military or in your lifetime. Because again, just like you, all of us, we grew up in the hood. I've seen the same thing:
Hmm.
murders, shootings. I've seen it all. But in the same, I'm not gonna say I've seen it all, but I've seen my fair share of what I've saw. But what I know is that from my post traumatic, from my definition of PTSD, it can be anything that could trigger you, anything that could trigger it. You can pretty much say you got a handle on it, but then boom, something just happened and it triggers it all over again. We talked about that earlier. Again, like I said, I see a lot of veterans that are in the VA hospital, at the regional offices. Let's start at the hospital. They just, once they go in the hospital and they're saying, Doc, I need help. Like, some of them doctors there will just shove medicine in your throat and say, all right, get out of my face. And I'm saying it's their persona, and that's how they come off. And it's more like, but then you have, like, with me, I can say shout out to, say, Dr. Sean Lincoln, and my current therapist, Dr. Madam Brooks, and my psychiatrist, Dr. Mendez. Them three doctors I can honestly give major props to, because they took time to really get to know who I was, what I was going through, why I was going through it. Don't get me wrong. They held me accountable for my situation, and they held me
Mhm.
accountable for my part, but they still took the time to say, hey, we're going to invest. I'm going to invest in you because of what you're going through. You don't have those. And again, if the VA hospitals had those kind of people, the VA hospital would not be labeled so badly. And then you look at the regional office, it's the same thing. You got veterans going there that come back from war, and they're like, yeah, I fought for this, I fought for this country. And a lot of them, like myself, are like, you know what, I fought for an ungrateful country because they're not grateful for the sacrifice that I put on the line. I left home, I left my family to go fight for a war that pretty much I don't understand or really don't have belief in. And now I come back home, I'm hurt. I got all these different problems with me. And the regional office will pat you back. Hey, welcome home. Good to see you. All right, see you later. And yet we're fighting for the benefits that we earn. And that also is another part of the mental aspect, because I'm going to tell you this now. The way they rate mental issues from, say, maybe 10, 15 years ago to now is way different. They put, since I can honestly admit Donald Trump, when he was president, since he signed that into law, they have to dive in it. They got to go back as far as your childhood now, no matter what, whatever you're going through, because like my PTSD started from when I was a kid. It it went dormant when I went into the military. It it came back to light when I had a first sergeant that called me a jigaboo, and he was a racist son of a what. And then once I got out the military, fighting for my benefits, I had to go tooth and nail. Like, Andre, you're my best friend from over 30 years. You know what I've been through. Dave, you and I have talked. You know exactly what I've been through. Dan, I've been through so much, man, it's not even funny. You talked about heartbreak, it's the same thing. I went through all aspects of it. And I can
Mhm.
still say, like my pastors told me, that I'm still a survivor, and I thank God for that. I am a survivor of all that stuff. There's not a lot of people that survive for that. The last thing I'm gonna say is, it's a movie. It's called Breaking. It talks about a U.S. Marine who suffers from PTSD, suffers from depression, anxiety, the whole 9 yards, and yet, his wife left him, took his daughter. He ended up going to the bank, wrote a note saying, "I'm gonna blow us up." It had a fake bomb on it. And yet, the bank Wells Fargo was so instrumental. You're a butthead, man. Seriously. Like, Wells Fargo was so instrumental in helping his family, even though this Marine is deceased. Wells Fargo was so instrumental in helping his family get the money that he should have had, because the VA just started paying him the money that he supposed to have gotten. And it's like, damn, why do y'all take so long for just something that's so simple? And yet the people are trained, and I say the word trained, whether you're in the regional office or the VA medical center, they are trained to know the signs of some type of mental disability, but they don't care. And this is why to me, mental health is a very, very strong topic. It's my passion, because I'm tired of seeing not only just military personnel, but even regular civilians out here going through mental health, and people just continually turn a blind eye. Like, you can't keep doing it. You can't.
Sure. And so the company I work for, actually, we and the VA, I don't know how long they did. I got to look more into it. But the company I work for, we actually schedule the compensation and pension exams.
Mm-hmm.
So they outsourced it because, of course, like you said, I've heard stories from thousands of veterans. Like, man, I put one claim in. It took almost 3, 4 years. They get lawyers and all this stuff. And I'm like, Jesus, that's a long time.
Yep.
Whereas so now, instead of them going to the VA medical center or the regional offices or whatnot, and that's the first thing that they ask them say that, oh, I gotta go to the VA. No, it's a provider contracted just to do these exams. They're going to ask you these questions. They're going to go over everything. If they need additional information, they're definitely going to get it. And it literally takes the process of going from years and months to
To
a few
days and
weeks.
weeks.
It
Because I'm
literally
gonna be,
takes a few weeks.
but
So,
sometimes you gotta be
uh-huh.
careful of those doctors too, because some of those contracted doctors, even though they're contracted by the VA, you may have that one doctor that okay, the VA can say, okay, we need you to fail him for this particular reason, even though he may have these signs, we still need you to fail it because we don't want to pay him.
So so the way that the process works is that the VA, they have nothing to do. Like they contracted us to get the schedule, so they don't even talk to the doctors. We get the results, we send it to the VA. VA makes a determination. So the doctor will literally doesn't even know the patient. Now, some of the veterans may say, "Hey, you know what? That's Doctor Who. Oh no, I don't like them. They did this, that, and the third last time." And I'm like, "Okay, let's find you another doctor." So a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times, like I said, the VA plays a big part in, of course, the ratings and everything like that when they do receive the results. But um, yeah, like I said, I hear countless stories, especially in a lot of cases that I see that have a lot of the veterans are dealing with PTSD. I've heard stories. They're like, yeah, and they'll laugh about it now, but it's just like, are you laughing to keep from going, from like you said, the going insanity and staying
Mm-hmm.
sane? Is that the reason why you're laughing? They're like, yeah, my partner next to me stepped on a landmine, leg blew off. And I'm like, bro, that's
That's
kind
not.
of crazy. That's kind of crazy. Like you seen this and you're on the phone with me talking about
Uh.
it. Like that's a little
Mm-hmm.
crazy. But like you said, a lot of them they do go through. Like the one guy, he was just like, yeah, I'm a little off my rocker. He's like, if I get there and I'm pissed off, I'm not a nice guy. I'm like, sir, we're on a recording line. And he kind of, and I'm just like, they
Yeah,
understand this guy. Like,
but you got
and
to
they tell
understand, right? But then you got to understand because of all the scrutiny and all the like you said, landmines, shortcomings,
me.
delays, and everything that the VA does give us veterans. I mean, Dave, you're a veteran, am I correct?
No, I had a lot of veterans around me. I
Okay,
was raised like that, but no.
right. But I was gonna say because of all that, that's why us veterans, we don't have a lot of faith or we don't have a lot of
Hmm.
hey, yeah, it's not a kumbaya thing when it comes to the VA. Because when they rate people, oh my God, they lowball the heck out of you sometimes. And then when you get lawyers and congressmen and US senators involved, that's when they start saying, oh, okay, well, we made a mistake. Here's the real reason. Like, like right now with my situation, I got a situation going on with them right now, and I'm still waiting them to rate it, which was an open and shut case. It took them over 30 days just to rate it.
Hmm.
Oh wow.
You know, I know that just kind of dealing with the issues going through the VA and some of the challenges that you face,
Mm-hmm.
that could be a whole conversation within itself. But the one thing that I do want to kind of go back into and talk about, although there are some frustrations going through the VA to get the help,
Mm-hmm.
for the challenges that some of our veterans, go through, there isn't any process in our hood for these kids that are going through the same types of PTSD or
Exactly. Yep.
traumas, just dealing with their families in the streets.
Well,
You know,
I was going to say they're actually starting. Mayor Parker. I gotta give her a prop. Mayor Parker is trying to start up a program for that now. She really is. Because she is noticing a lot of these children that are transgender, they're going through these different mental issues, and it's more like, okay, we need to get this program set up for them within the hood, like like some type of like resource where they could talk with a counselor or talk with whomever to really like vent out their frustration, vent out their problem, and pretty much talk to somebody on a regular basis so they can get through and cope with what they're going through.
I just hope it's for all. I think everybody needs that outlet, and it just can't be Parker. I mean, it needs to go back to the village mentality. I don't know how we can get back to that process, but if we trying to really save our children and trying to really make a difference and save them, it's going to have to go back to that village mentality where we all looked out for each other and we looked out for when somebody was doing something that they wasn't supposed to do, and it was really trust and a lot of individuals as far as with your own kids and stuff. Um,
Yeah, because I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna get ready to go. Because I know the Social Security Administration, when you collect Social Security benefits, whether it's SSI and or SSDI, you are required, and I mean required, to go to counseling, see a therapist. They always want your medical records so they can make sure you're on top of your mental health because they kind of took that really seriously. You know what I mean?
So again, I do want to go back because a lot of these people, they don't have they don't not mental health. They don't have health
Mm-hmm.
plans.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any health coverage.
Mm-hmm.
They don't always have access to therapists. Sometimes the only thing that they have is people like us.
Mm-hmm. Let's
Um,
Yeah. Go ahead.
what advice do you have that you could give to someone as sort of like a self-help tip for anyone that's going through any type of mental health crisis?
Well, for me, I have a thing. This is a saying that I have. It takes a big person to admit that you have a problem, but it takes a stronger person to go get help. Once you get admitted within yourself, and you can find a trusted person to say, "Hey, listen, I have this problem. I need help." They should be able to steer you into the right direction. Like, I can definitely say when we do, there's a place called the Cohen Center. Regardless, if you got a if you got a military affiliation with somebody, say like myself, and you really need the help, you can go into the Cohen Center. I'll have the number for you guys next time. You go into the Cohen Center, say, "Hey, listen, I have an issue," and they will definitely help you. You may have limited sessions or whatever, but once you have those limited sessions, they will definitely put you into contact with the right kind of therapist for what you're going through. And or if you do have like some type of health insurance, I don't care what insurance, definitely talk with that your
We're
insurance.
talking about people with no insurance, Frank.
Okay,
We're talking about people with no
definitely.
resources.
If you have no
I
resources, the
mean,
city,
mind you,
listen,
everything that you're saying is good, but I'm talking about people that
right.
don't have anything. What are you
But
going to
again,
tell these people?
and I would tell them, if you're affiliated with somebody from the military, I'm going to reiterate this again because you might have missed it. If you're affiliated with somebody from the military,
What if they're not?
even if you're not, the Cohen Center is pretty much open to everybody. Not to mention, you can actually go to the free clinic and talk to a therapist or counselor down there. You really can. They've started doing that now. So like, there's many avenues, but you got to be willing to accept it. You got to be willing to open up and say you have that issue. If you don't have the insurance, take the necessary steps. If you can't get yourself insurance, try to talk to who try to like when you go to the doctor, go to the hospital, go whatever, go to a free clinic. Their counselors there to help you. Again, if you're affiliated with somebody from the military, or even if you're not affiliated with somebody from the military, go to the Cohen Center. Walk in there. Just say, "Listen, I need help. I need to talk to a therapist. I need to talk to a psychiatrist. Whatever." They will help you. They will put you in that direct. They will
yeah,
steer you definitely in the right direction.
yeah. I mean, for me, I can only go with what had worked for me. I would say that, like for me, I really had to really lean on my faith.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you don't
That's
have, even if you don't have a faith or in God, or and if you want to start, all it takes is a conversation. You could be plain and open with him, and just reach out to him.
mm-hmm.
As far as for me, and just have, you got to have that trusted person or person, someone you can have as that one outlet. I would say try to find them, be prayerful, or be mindful, or try to find that one outlet person
Mm-hmm.
who is trusted, that you could talk to, and then I would start there. I would try to find some resources from there, to see somebody else if
Mm-hmm.
you need even some more in depth mental health resources, and I would try to
Mm-hmm.
just find positive outlets to go into, somewhere that's uplifting to your own spiritual mind as well as your own physical mind. Try to
Right.
try to be around places that uplift you. Try to be around positive places, and if you can't find positive places, then try to change your environment. Try to change different avenues where you're at. If you can't find that, like I said, just lean. anything that has light, because that's what's going to bring you truly out of like a dark place.
Exactly.
Mhm.
If you go to church and you're strong in your faith, talk to your pastor. Talk to your pastor, talk to your elder, talk to the deacon.
Right. But
Talk to
but a
them.
lot of people, just like
They
Andre said, a lot of people, some of them places are not in position to talk. Some of them people had that church hurt what we was talking about.
are not
Some
trained.
of them people
Right.
that's not going to ever. I'll talk to some people who are faith based, but they told me they would never ever step into a church again because of the hurt that they had. So if we talking to these
Mhm.
people like that, they're not going to go to a person that you call a trusted pastor because
Mhm.
they don't trust them. They're not gonna go to a trusted
Right.
deacon because they don't trust them. So for me, I would
Mhm.
say they would have to find that one person who they can trust and find that outlet, that one person who may be in touch with somebody spiritual, but they probably can be that bridge,
Yep.
that gap to that place where they can get to until they get healed enough to maybe find their own way. But if I'm talking to
Right.
somebody who's not in touch with what can go to a deacon or a pastor, that's what I would tell them, to try to find someone that they can talk to, and try to find that help while they're in that dark place, because you can be in that
Right.
dark place
Right.
and you could be
Right.
having a
Right.
lot of
Right.
dark thoughts, a
Mhm.
lot of dark thoughts you're thinking. I mean, even for me, I don't want to go in depth, but for me, when I was in that dark place, man, I had a lot of suicidal thoughts. It was a lot of stuff. It was a lot of
Mhm.
hurtful thoughts. I had a lot of stuff about doing stuff to people that So you in that dark place. It's a lot of thoughts that you allow. In my point of view, you allow Satan to talk to you. You allow all those negative thoughts to really
Yes,
harvest
you
a
do. There
lot
you
of
go.
things, in
Mhm.
you, and some people act upon those things. That's why you have a lot of
They
stuff
do.
happening out in the streets. So I was just a person that it was harvesting in me, but I was at that point where I found enough help for it to not manifest outwardly. But a lot of people are not in that position, and they let those dark thoughts overcome them. Those are the people that you really have to really talk to, because they're out there right now, even in the streets. They get having a lot of hate. They having a lot of things that's wrong with them, and a lot of them is because of their
Mhm.
dreams have been. Like I said, I talked before, their dreams have been crushed. And when somebody tell you your dreams crushed and you don't got nothing, they feel like they don't got nothing to live for. If somebody tell you right now that all your goals and everything is just gone, you have nothing. So now you
Mhm.
sitting there, you're mad. At first, you're mad. Why me? And a lot of things that they missed the opportunity on, now they can't do it now. So they can't do now. So a
Mhm.
lot of them, they're mad about that. They're hurt about that. Not only that, I got a childhood
Mhm.
in the background that hurt me. I got a lot of people who supposed to been in my life that was positive. They hurt me. I try to trust this person.
Yep.
They hurt me. So now it's like, where do I go to? So now I'm angry. Now I'm out there. Oh yeah, give me that Tech Nine. Yeah, give me that gun. Now I'm going to shoot up whoever. I'm going to do this, and that's why you have these
Yep.
senseless killings.
Or
Or you find it that, oh, he killed him
or
over a chicken wing. No, it wasn't really about a chicken wing. It was about things that happened in this
something that
person's
he was
life.
going right. It was exactly something that person was going on, because again, the one thing the Army, or let me rephrase that, every branch, I don't care if you're Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Space Force, whatever, you're always given what's called a battle buddy. You're always given that battle. Like, I have battle buddies that I served with from my time in the military. No, it's not funny, because I'm gonna be honest, because here's where my battle buddies actually stepped in. When I was going through my situation back on 2017,
We just
Dave,
need context.
be quiet.
Context is good, man.
But Dave and Dre, y'all know what I was going through. Dave, you already know. I had the same type of thoughts, suicidal thoughts. I wanted to hurt people. There's a certain particular person I wanted to put my hands around her throat and choke the living life out of her. But at the end of the day, it was talking to you, talking to Dre, talking to my many, many, many Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine battle buddies, talking to, certain people that I met, like, me and Andre's mutual friend. Talking to them people kept me well grounded. Yes, I went through a lot of hurt in my past. I went through my childhood past. I went through my teenage past, my adolescent past, all that. I went through all that hurt. But now that I'm looking at on the other side of it again, when I first got in contact with my pastor and I told her everything about me, from me being child abused up to now, she never not once judged me. If anything, she put a lot of faith in me. She put a lot of investment into me. The church that I go to put a lot of faith in me, a lot of investment in me. Her husband, who's an elder, not to mention he's a military personnel. He's a retiree. He's Army. He put a lot of investment in me and a lot of trust in me. So I got to give a shout out to my pastor Cynthia Screen Sheard and her husband Elder Robert Sheard. They put a lot of faith in me. I give a shout out to all three of you guys, because Dan, I barely even know you, but yet I love them texts that you send me. Yo, what's going on? You good? like everybody said, give me my flowers while I'm still living. And to me, that's a flower. Give me that flower while I'm still living, because I can smell it that way. I can't smell it when I'm dead. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I definitely got to give a shout out to both Dave and Drake, because again, that dark moment that I was in, whoo, we both know that dark. Y'all know that dark moment.
Send me
And
some
from that dark
chicken wings
moment,
while I'm alive.
you'll get your chicken wings. But that's what I'm saying. That dark moment that I was in, I can still, there's some days I can smile and say, thank God I'm on this side of it. And there's many
Mm-hmm.
days I still cry, because it's like, well, dang, what did I do wrong? And I kept beating myself up over it. But I'm getting to the point right now is, it was a sermon. I'm going to say this and I'm in this. It was a sermon from a preacher who preached last Sunday from the book of Isaiah 53rd chapter, 1 through 5. And the name of the sermon was, It Had to Happen. And from that sermon, I had to start putting everything into perspective. This had to happen. That had to happen. Mental health is a bad thing, but sometimes it had to happen, because that's God's way of saying, let me get you to sit down so you can talk to me and I can talk to you and you can listen to me and I can listen to you. So we can work things out together and move forward. You see what I'm saying? Or let me put this person in your life so that way they can give you my message. So therefore, you know my message that I'm giving to you. So therefore, y'all both can move forward, because God is always going to give you that help me, no matter who they are, in some shape, way, and form, to help you through whatever you're going through.
But let me but check this out. So no, all that is true. So but a lot of times we talk about like we had our mental breaks and stuff like that. But a lot of times we talk about when things happen, but we never talk about what we do after the fact. Like what happens
Mm-hmm.
after the fact? What happens after this happens? What happens after I make a mistake? What do we do after that? Like a lot of society and a lot of people we don't talk about like for a person what to do after that. And
And there are those out there that don't think that far, Dave.
But
I
but
mean,
that's
let's be
why
honest.
and a lot of people
Right.
don't
They don't
a
think
lot
that
of
far.
people don't reach out that been through these things like we've been
Mm-hmm.
through to reach back out to tell the people what to do after the fact. So a lot of things for me that happened like for when it felt like I was this cupboard, and it felt like I had this earthquake and everything shook around my cupboard and fell
Mm-hmm.
out. Everything fell out that was in my life. Everything that I was going through, it fell out in this cupboard, and now my cupboard was just messed up. That's how I felt like in my life when everything happened. So now it's just like, all right, but at the same time, it gives you the person a time to reevaluate yourself and
Mm-hmm.
find out what's all these things in my cupboard. Why are these things like? Why am I the way I am? Why do I think like this? Where am I at? So now I got all these things in my cupboard. So now you should do inventory in your cupboard to find out like what are these things in your cupboard? Is this good for me? Is this not? Is this good for me? Is not. And now you got time to reorganize your cupboard to find out and restructure your cupboard to find out what you could put back in there to help you and help heal you. And these are the good things and these are the bad things. Let me not put this thing because if I put everything back out that fell in my cupboard, I'm going to live the same life that I lived before this
Right.
happened.
Right.
So
And
so it gives me the
that's the thing.
opportunity.
You want to
Yeah,
learn
so
from
it
your
gives me
mistakes.
the opportunity
And
to
that's the thing.
restructure and get rid of the things that don't belong in there, and to me to analyze why I was in this position in the first place. And it gives me, but a lot of people don't want to do that self examination, and they don't want to.
Or that self inventory.
Yeah, but
That self
you
inventory,
have
more
to
or less.
do
Exactly.
that. You got to stop
You
blaming
have to
other
do it.
people.
You got
You
to.
got to stop blaming other people, even though things
Mm-hmm.
somebody might have had an influence on your life, but you got to stop blaming other people and take accountability for your own actions and the things, and then you got to say, what do I do from here? What do I do from here? Because if not,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be blaming these people for the rest of my life. But if I want my life to be
Yep.
better, if I want to make better choices, if I want to reach some goals in my life,
Mm-hmm.
what do I do from here on out? How do I plan my cover and build my cover to a place where I can reach my goals? And that's the place where
There you
that's
go.
the mindset you got to be, and that's the mindset I'm at right now. I'm trying to structure my cupboard so I can put all the things that's healthy in there and all the things that's gonna get me to where I need to
Mm-hmm.
be.
Yep.
The
You always want
essentials.
to. You exactly. You always want to take that negative. Like you said, you don't want to keep blaming everybody for your problems, because in the military, a lot of times when NCOs, when sergeants or whatever do like this, that's because it's strictly your fault. It's telling you you're the blame and you got to fix this. Whereas when a lot of people point one finger out, it's four more fingers pointing back at you. So what did you do in order to get to the situation where you at? That's the one thing I taught my kids. No matter what you get yourself into, what part did you play? You see what I'm saying? What part did you play?
Mm-hmm.
You tell me the part that you played, then fine. Let's work on that part, and that part from working on that part, we just go forward. But I'm agreeing with you, Dave. I'm agreeing with you. I'm
No,
definitely
I
agreeing
hear
with
you.
you.
Dad just doing some stuff that right now to make Dad.
I know I'm about to kill him.
No,
It's tripping. I try to go off the screen, but he
Dad is out
made
of pocket.
but you guys really brought up some really important things because it's very important to know that some of these things do happen.
Mm-hmm.
And we all are human, and we all do have those moments where we you know we might you know have a mental issue or mental breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very important to know that we can rise above it
There you go.
after the covering breaks, after everything is crumbled. We're able to put those things back together again. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we're able to recover from it. Um, it's not a scar, you know, that will last a lifetime. It's something that will heal, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to want to seek that healing, for
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. It's something that, we must want to do each and every day of our lives. There are times where, some of these issues, I mean, they'll never leave, you know, but as long as we know that they're there, we're able to effectively deal with them
Mm-hmm.
and do what we need to do, so that we can live with them. Always make sure that, you have those that you trust around you. Now, it doesn't have to be a pastor, it doesn't have to be an elder or deacon, doesn't have to be a military advisor, it doesn't always have to be a counselor. But if it is, that's great. But it could be your big homie, it could be the guy down the street. Sometimes, I've seen and I've had it happen to me where a total stranger may just open up out of nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
just because they felt comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And even if that's you, you're that total stranger, be you ready. Because again, God will put you in places that you don't even understand why you're there. But
But you're
there,
there.
you know, you're performing a service
Mm-hmm.
and didn't even know it was going to happen. But be ready for those moments.
It's funny that you said that because it's just like I guess I must have like a sign over my head that say you can talk to me about anything. There be random people like, yeah, man, this they give me a life story. And I'm looking like, okay, but and being as though when God gives you that ability to discern and pick up on what someone's talking about, and you're able to say,
Hmm.
I know
Hmm.
how to handle the issue, how to speak on the issue, and the person walks away feeling a lot lighter and more relieved. Like, man, I'm glad I was able to talk to this guy. I didn't know who he was, but I feel comfortable. And your spirit has to be, and your demeanor, your character has to be welcoming to people that are walking to you. You always walking around with this nasty looking face, and you just mean mugging all the time. I hate the Drake. You mean mugging all the time. People don't feel comfortable to
Right,
come and talk to you.
right.
And that's with anybody, even with a child. If you want to know the truth about somebody, you want to know how somebody really is, put a child in the room with them, and
Oh
they
yeah.
will tell you everything they need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they'll and, kids ain't got no filter. They'll be like, you mean, you nasty, you stink, you ugly, and they'll just go for blood. I got shit. But when people are able to and you're approachable and people feel comfortable, it opens up an avenue for them to start to vent. And you know, they may not know. And the thing is, both of you are in the same room in the same vicinity, not knowing that both of you need each other.
Hmm.
Because you're helping them, and it's like, what, you may have been praying like, Lord, I don't get a chance to, really help people like that, like I used to, or helping this and the third. And this person's like, well, I don't have anybody to talk to. And now he puts you all in the same room, and now you're helping them, and God's answering your prayer. And he's answering the other person's prayer, of someone talking to them. So it's just like, they're both excited. And for advice toward people, and
You
it's simple things. It's simple
were
things that you can
all
do to, oh my
Listen
goodness,
to look who we
that
dealing with here. We're dealing with
simple,
the Dragon
simple,
Slayer. Come on, man.
simple things that you can do to help with your mental health. Make
apart.
sleep a priority because 9 times out of 10, someone who's dealing with mental health is
Here
not sleeping.
is will.
He's so annoying. And Nine times out of 10, person dealing with mental health is not sleeping properly, and they're just up all times of the night, all times of the day. They
Hmm.
sleep in the daytime, wake up, or whatnot. Eating healthy,
Yes.
food that you eat helps with your mental health. Staying focused, doing relaxing activities. And in everything that you're doing in those things, you'll find yourself meeting other people doing relaxing activities. And now,
I can't with her right now. So can't with him right now. I'm totally through with him. You is out of pocket. He's out of pocket.
is there one that wants to come and give their life back to Christ? The doors
All
of the
right.
church are open. Is it you? Is
Is
it
there
you?
one?
Is it you?
If there's one, let me
Is
come.
it you? We have clothes, we have water. We will take you down in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. We have one fucking here. Then you give him the mic, you be like, and what's your name? All right, we God bless him. You're gonna take him in the back. We're gonna have go meet with mother. You're gonna meet with Mother Black, and she's gonna get your information and go from there. We're outstanding. We're going home.
I'm dead. So dead. It's over. It's over.
All right. So I don't want to go because I know we're like 15 minutes over the time that we allowed it, but
I'm not interested in
this
getting
was a
scheduled,
very
man.
serious topic,
Yeah, it's a
Yes.
very
and I was glad that we were able to come together and talk about it and to expound about it a bit. Um, and I know that in our next episode, we may go a little more into this. We may actually have someone to come and talk about it a bit because it's very important, and we know that it's needed. And sometimes, having a
Sorry, I got it, man.
professional, you know, to talk about it and give their input and what they've learned could be very helpful.
Hmm.
So we're going to end this here. I am so glad that you guys were able to come together and talk about this. I know that Dave's dealing with some things at the moment, so he's perfectly fine. Dan, I see that you have one of the greatest shirts on earth. Possibly you can give us a quick little preview of that.
Merch coming soon,
Great.
y'all. Merch is coming soon. Don't worry, guys. We got y'all covered.
Frank, just want to thank you for giving us a bit of your story, telling us about some of the things that veterans go through.
no problem. No
One
problem.
of the things I do want to say is that all will be well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I know that you are, doing everything that you have to do on your end.
Mm-hmm.
Allow God to do everything He needs to do on His end, and
Hmm.
everything will be well.
No doubt. Oh, listen. I'm a firm believer in Exodus 14:14. Stand still, let him fight your battle.
Exactly.
Holy shit, time.
Um, that's all I have to say. I believe that is it. Peace out, everyone, and hope you enjoy the
Deuces.
podcast.
Holla at your boys.
We'll see y'all on the next one, y'all.
See you in the next one.
See you next episode.
Bye.